Okay, Google now. Do a barrel roll. That is touchless controls, one of the many features that's packed inside the Motorola Moto X here. It's one of the most anticipated, one of the most hyped phones of 2013, but does it live up to the hype? Does it work, and does it do what it says that it does? We're going to find out in my review of the Motorola Moto X. Alright, let's start off with the Moto X talking about the design here. So the design is a very interesting design. It's nice. It has a nice sort of curve here to the back. And the reason for that is so that it fits into your hand a lot easier, which it definitely does. And it feels nice and it feels like a very good grip. It feels more like a traditional smartphone, the way smartphones used to feel before we sort of got all these big screen sizes and such. And it's sort of designed with sort of having a nice sort of compact feel to it, but still having a large display, 4.7 inches. So it's still pretty big in most cases as far as the display is concerned, but it tries to pretty much shave it down with the bezel and stuff. And you can see the display is pretty much edge to edge. And you'll see that as we look more into the display a little bit later. It's comfortable, has sort of this nice sort of soft backing here on it. This non-removable battery or anything like that. You can't take anything off of it. It's mostly two parts, as you can see here, with really being the screen and then the back casing here itself. But it's a very simplistic device, as you can see. Not too much going on. There's just a couple of buttons here on the side. You have your USB port and your headphone jack here at the top. So very, very simplistic and easy. So even with the camera, it kind of just blends in here with the 10 megapixel camera and the LED flash. Nothing sort of standing out, nothing being bulky or anything like that. Keeps it a very streamlined and smooth experience. It reminds me a little bit of some of the Nexus devices that has sort of that curve. I think either the Galaxy Nexus or maybe even the Nexus S might have had this similar sort of style to it. So it's with sort of the curved display. So that's pretty nice. And overall, I do like the design of the Moto X. Okay, as for the display, it's a 4.7 inch 720p HD display. It's pretty nice, good color production. It's an AMOLED display. It's a little disappointing that it is 720p, especially for somebody like myself that uses a lot of phones. We look at and review a lot of phones here, and a lot of them are coming at 1080p. So you do really notice when you go back to the 720p display, the downgrade in resolution a little bit. But that doesn't mean that the display is bad or anything. It looks really good. The color production is pretty sharp with it. I actually took this picture of the strawberry here with the 10 megapixel camera here on the back, and it came out good, so I started to use it as a background. And you can see here it's very nice to look at. Color production is pretty good with it as well too, so it does look really, really nice. And I can even show you here how it's going to look in a browser. As you can see some browser here on BWOne.com. You can see that the fonts look pretty good. We'll actually zoom in here a little bit. You can see it does come out pretty good here without too much pixelation, so it's pretty sharp. And so it's going to be nice to read on this. I would say you can't fit as much on the screen, as you'll notice, with 4.7 inches and not being 1080p, so maybe not as many icons or much font or an entire page can fit on the screen as well. But overall, it's still going to be pretty good for you. We'll even check out some video here as well. Looking at Transformers Dark of the Moon. It's a good example of HD video. Hopefully it starts up. You can see even video quality looks pretty good on here. It's nice. It's good enough to watch, movies and YouTube videos and stuff like that if you want to watch it on here. And it's we'll slide up a little bit more here. Let's see if we get some more color production. Let me get some more different looks here. See, nice, sharp, good. It's good enough for most people that are going to be watching, content on here. And overall, it's definitely good for just, daily use and stuff like that. And I know some people are going to want to know some about some games here. So let's do some true mobile gaming that a lot of people like to do, and let's pull out the Candy Crush, because I know most of you are going to be playing that and wondering if Candy Crush Saga looks good on this here. And the answer to that is yes, Candy Crush Saga does look good and does play well on here, even though I'm only on like stage 39. I know I'm pretty low there than most people, but you can see right there, Candy Crush will play well for you. There's other gaming games that you can play as well too, but I like to always just show the typical mobile games, not so much some of the hardcore stuff there when I do my phone reviews. If you guys want us to do a separate video on gaming on the Moto X, let us know. We'll throw a gaming on the Moto X video up there for you. But overall, display very good, and it's going to be adequate for most people. While the Moto X is mostly a stock Android experience, there are some cool software features. As one of the ones you just saw right there, which is active display, which is part of one of the processors actually within the Moto 8X platform, which I'll get to a little bit soon. That sort of manages that there. As you can see, what it's doing there is I sent a text message to myself, and it works with email, other notifications as well too. You can see it's glowing to let me know that the notification is there, which is different than from giving you sort of an LED notification. Now, see how it pops up here. Now, if I hit that, what it will do here is it will give me the option to either open it up here and to give me a little preview of the message as well too, and you can customize that around as you want to, or you can just unlock the screen. So if I go to that, like there, it'll open up text messaging and jump right into that particular thing, and that works with several different applications as well too. Let's go ahead and show you within the settings options here some of the things you can do, which is active notifications. Now, there's a processor that controls this. This phone technically comes with 8 processors inside of it, and I'll explain that in just a minute here. One of the processors controls things like active display, active notifications here. As you can see, you can turn it on, turn it off. You can have different timing with it. You can have from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. You even want to sleep at night, in other words, not to give you any notifications at all. Basically put it in sort of a blocking mode. And you can manage your notification types, so you can see all the different notification types that you can kind of go through. And you can give them all, you can uncheck some, add some off, whatever you want to do there with that. And they also have this thing called Moto Connect. So what Moto Connect does is basically it will allow you to get your notifications on your computer through a Chrome extension. So if you use a Chrome browser, you'll be able to get your notifications on there as well too. So you can sign off or sign on, and that uses your Gmail account to do so. And you can see here it gives you different information on what you want to use and stuff like that. It lets you know what the service does there. So pretty simple stuff. Go ahead and head back out of here. Now let's explain that X8 platform a little bit, basically the hardware that's inside of it here. It does come with basically Motorola's, like I said, X8 platform, I think is what it's specifically called. Always get the 8X or the X8, it's kind of switched around there. But it comes with basically a dual core 1.7 gigahertz Snapdragon S4 processor. And then it also comes with a Adreno, I believe 320 GPU inside of it, which is a quad core graphics processor inside of it. And then it comes with one processor for stuff like the active display, and then another processor for sort of contextual language, which will show you what that means, sort of the Google Now and the voice control stuff, what that processor controls. So that's pretty much what you have inside of here. And then let's take a look as we bounce it up here. It does come with either 16 or 32 gigabytes of storage options as well too. And you see there's pretty much stock Android inside of this here. It's very, very stock for the most part in that experience, which you'll kind of notice when coming from different phones that use sort of customize their Android experience, such as Samsung and TouchWiz, LG's and Optimus UI and HTC Sense. You'll notice that coming back to a stock device, there is some things that are missing, some of those value adds. You start to see some of those holes that Android sort of has inside its operating system that are a little more noticeable these days than before, like especially now that a lot of these OEMs have gotten a little bit better with it. Now, speed-wise, it's still a very fast and very, very responsive device, as you can see there with it. So that's pretty nice that it's, it still keeps this thing speedy, but you're going to notice some holes in certain areas. Going back in here, you have your notifications you can swipe off and stuff like that. You can go here, you can swipe two down to get to your settings. You can go back into the settings within here. We can do something called touchless control. So let me show you what that does. And that's pretty much one of the coolest features about it. So let's just power the phone off here. And let's go, okay, Google Now. Do a barrel roll. And it continues to do a barrel roll there for you. One of the cool tricks there with it. Now, basically, what that is that it's sort of voice controls, but using the Google Now service to do the voice controls and voice commands. You can do other things like, okay, Google Now, set my alarm for 6 a.m. on August 27th. You can see right there, you can get kind of a little bit detailed there, and it kind of gives you the alarm and the appointments and things like that you can do with it. And you can go back and swipe out of that, and basically that's what kind of Google Now and that sort of that voice command stuff actually does. You can have it do several different things, but it's pretty cool just to be able to say it at any point in time, and it just pops right up there for you. Now let's take a look at some of the other software that they've added. Now they did also add Assist, which is sort of their sort of some automation stuff similar to sort of the old Motorola sort of the automated software that they had before. The Moto Actions this is sort of what this does here too. You can have stuff for driving, meeting, and get a good night's rest if you want to sleep, and you can choose your sleep time. You can choose avoid interruptions with the meeting time, staying on the road. You can choose your actions on what you want it to do, and you can sort of customize that, and you go into the settings here and even deeper customize those actions as well too. So it's nice that it has that. So while it's mostly a stock experience, there is some nice add-ons to it, and with it overall pretty cool in terms of software. I do wish there was a little more add-ons to sort of fill in some of the gaps that sort of stock Android has there. That can be really opinion based there, because some people like that, some people don't. I do see the value of just having some of those value adds with it, but I also see the value of having the speed and efficiency that stock Android sort of has here with it. So overall, the software is pretty good inside of here. In most cases, it's going to get the job done for a lot of people. With just a shake like this, you bring up the camera. So that's one of the cool ways to kind of bring up the camera there. Some people kind of find that gimmicky. I kind of find that kind of cool, just to be able to shake the camera and it pops open, opens up instantly, just like that on the Moto X here. And you're presented here with a pretty simple interface, not too much to it. Why don't you bring my camcorder's remote control in here for something to focus on. You can just tap on the screen, takes a picture just like that. You can actually hold it down as well too, and I'll take several pictures. As you can see there, the interface is pretty simple. You kind of slide here to the side and it gives you all your options that you want to choose from. This little dial wheel here, and you can do slow motion, panoramic shots. You can have touch to focus, auto flash, and then you can also come here to the side. You swipe like this, it brings up the gallery once again for you to be able to edit and stuff like that, but we'll check that out in a minute. Video just by tapping on that, and I kind of hate that it just automatically starts to record the second you tap it. I want to be able to get to the mode, then tap and do it. But we'll go ahead and head back here out of video. Do have a front-facing camera at 2 megapixels. As you can see there, easily you just switch between the two of them. There isn't any settings options for quality. It's at 10 megapixels and it's at 1080p, and it will stay at that. There's no way to change that around. There's no real granular settings within the camera, so that's you kind of understand. It's kind of a very basic, typical smartphone camera. Not something a little more advanced that you see inside the sort of what they have in HTC Sense with their camera, TouchWiz and their camera, and other OEMs out there. So, but as far as the quality of it, it's I kind of found a bit of a mixed bag. Most cases it's pretty good for uploading to Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. Very simple. And indoors, not the greatest low light in terms of the light production, not the greatest in there, so it's okay. Not as good as some other ones out there in the market. There's a lack of modes anywhere within here to be able to really sort of change any of that around. There isn't too much it really isn't too much in terms of like, the camera is good, but it's not as great as you would hope it to be. It's a lot better than most typical Motorola cameras in the past, but it's not necessarily the greatest in terms of quality, or it's going to beat anybody out there that are currently have very, very good smartphone cameras. Okay, to summarize the Moto X here, a couple of things I didn't get into just yet, which was the video quality from the camera at 1080p. You can check out our sample video that we uploaded to YouTube. It is pretty decent. It's going to be good for uploading to YouTube. Not something I would necessarily say is the greatest out there. I said it's good enough for most people that just want to have need decent 1080p video. Some of the anti-shake doesn't work as well, and sometimes the exposure is a little off or so here. And audio quality is not the greatest, but it's good enough and you can still hear people. So I definitely give it a passing grade on the video quality, but not necessarily the most stellar of the bunch out there. Now, as far as battery life is concerned, that's one of the biggest things that they were really touting with this internal 2020 milliamp hour battery. It does give you very, very good battery life. It's pretty much all day battery life, and I really have pounded this phone. I have about 3 or 4 email accounts going to it, a few social networks. I did some text messaging, some data messaging like Kik and stuff like that, and found it could last pretty much, if I power use it, you can go pretty much the entire day, a good close to, I think, 18 hours or so that I got with it. Now, just using it as a standard, like casual user, like anybody else would do, just regularly using it as a typical smartphone, I would say I got about close to 2 days just leaving it off the charger. And it was really cool. About 1 day, 19 hours, I think is the farthest that I got it. So it's basically overall a 2 day span, close to a 2 day span, not exactly 48 hours, but you got to get the point there that you're going to get very, very good battery life with it. And that's going to be good for most people that are probably looking into this category of a phone. Now, the question is this a top tier or mid-range phone? It's sort of interesting. It's sort of a phone that performs definitely at the level of a top tier device, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a top tier device price though. It's priced right now at $199 under a contract, which I think is far too expensive for this. I think this should be a little bit lower, below hitting that $150 or maybe hitting that $100 price point. I think it's going to be, that would be like a knockout at that price point. And even the out of contract pricing is absolutely ridiculous. It's just way too expensive. I think at about $629 or so that I've seen out there from the companies, from the wireless companies that are telling you that. But it's just a little too much there in terms of pricing. But overall, this is going to be a very good phone for specific people. It's definitely for people that are wanting a typical smartphone, that want it to work as a smartphone and not looking for too many overall bells and whistles. You want something simple and works well and also gives you some nice added features with it. And that's what you're going to get here with the Moto X. It's going to give you all those sort of things sort of blended into one here. I would wait for the price to drop on it though, because I think $199 is a little too expensive. But other than that, I definitely give a thumbs up to Motorola here for this. I think this is a very good comeback for them. I think this is the start of a good build for them. So let's see where they go from here. So this is BWOne here from BWOne. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and a like. It really does help us out. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, connect with us on all the other social networks, and visit our main website at BWOne. Our written review will be up very soon for that, so check the links in the description for all that I just mentioned. And always remember to live your tech world in high definition. Thanks for watching.